Have any other questions? We're going to proceed with what we plan to do today. Okay, so today we're gonna cover. Yesterday we had an overview. About the if statement, right? To me, as a teacher, I understand the meaning of mathematics. It's very, very important before you can do anything. You can score or not score, and it's just that important, right? And we summarized yesterday that we have the if statement. The if statement involves the equation and the inequalities. So we had an overview. The lectures will be posted, but even though it's available already for you in Zoom cloud recording, but I didn't get a chance to post it in our module, which I would do today because I had a string of doctor appointments yesterday after school. But anyway, so today we're gonna continue the discussion. We look into the details of the if statement. One big category is absolute value, equation, and inequality. Okay, if you look for such a title to read about, okay, it should be under absolute value, equation, and inequalities. They may be separated. In some books, these two are separated topics. Okay, they may not be in the same section, but I bring them in the same section. Okay, this is topics that, even though it doesn't seem to be very difficult, and we went over a couple of examples yesterday, but it seemed to have a lot of mistake. I personally have seen a lot of mistakes in my career, and my colleagues and from the college and from four-year schools, they also complain about the similar mistakes. It's just bewildering to us. So for that reason, I will be addressing some of these mistakes, but at the same time, I want you guys to understand that when we are doing this absolute value equation and inequalities, we have already covered absolute value function. What was that function in the in basic one table? This is the function. Okay, however you call it, y, f of x. So this is the function we have already covered, right? So this is the second time we look at this function, right? So the purpose of this semester, I was trying to cover certain topics just multiple times from different perspectives. Even though I will not be teaching you till the end of the semester, but you're going to see the exercise. Okay, if you go through the exercises, then you will see that it's been shown in different ways. Okay, so absolute value is one of those topics that you will have to deal with. You will have to encounter. No professor teaching calculus can avoid it. It's just one of those topics. It can easily score you 20 points or more, or take away 20 points from your record. So for that reason, I want you to quickly review about this function. We did this function. Can you tell me the domain and range in one sentence? Domain range in one sentence. And the other form, the alternative form. Okay, so first tell me the domain and range. It doesn't matter which order. And the alternative form. Right? And maybe we add the narrative. The narrative. about absolute value. The narrative about absolute value. We covered some at the beginning of the semester, about week 2 or week 3. When I was preparing your midterm exam, and I saw some quizzes related to that. The absolute value of, so can you guys tell me what's the domain and range in one sentence, and what's the narrative about the absolute value, and what is the alternative form to that function, and of course the graph and everything. So we have done it, right? We've done it. To go through your notes, find it. So this is the second time we touch these topics this semester. At least the second times. No comments? Right? The absolute value of any real number is greater than or equal to 0. So this statement is true for any real number. That's the domain range in one sentence. Remember we did that? The second one, the narrative. The narrative. Okay, this is reviewing for your midterm. Okay. The absolute value of a positive number is the same as the number. The absolute value of 0 is the same as 0. The absolute value of a negative number is its opposite. Remember these narratives? Yeah? And these 3 narratives lead us to the next form, the alternative form. Okay? The alternative form is the form that's going to be thrown at you in the beginning of the semester in Calculus 1. And you need to understand that thoroughly because you're going to be dealing with variations of it. Okay, so the first 2 sentences, for the first 2 sentences, the absolute value of a non-negative number. So the first 2 sentences is summarized into if, okay, the number x is greater than or equal to 0. In that case, the absolute value of that number is going to be the same as x. The next one, if the absolute value of a negative number, if x is negative, the absolute value of a negative number is its opposite. So these are the 3 three very important components in this study. Okay, so now with that, do you have any questions? You guys have any questions? If you want to view more about this, right, this is pretty much a review, but if you have more questions, please don't hesitate to ask me. You can also go back to watch the recordings in earlier in the early weeks. You can find it on the title. There's a title. They're titled with absolute values and those sort of thing. Okay, well, you refer to the first 8 functions we talk about from basic 1. Okay, so with that said and done, I want to take you guys to basic 4. Okay, so today we're going to do basic 4, basic 5, basic 6, all 3 together, right? In some textbook, these topics are separated, but they can be brought together after they're all covered. Okay, they're separated for a reason, they're brought together for a reason. Now, they're all under the title of solve for. Solve for X. Okay, so I'm going to talk about these I'm going to do these topics the following way. Okay, slightly different from the way I used to talk about it. Okay, we're going to talk about them in a comparable term. Basic 4 is solve for X, right? They're all about solving for X. Okay, and basic 5 and basic 6. Okay, so I want you guys to look at the notes, and that should be page number 6. Should be page number 6. So they're all under the same title. Okay, solving for X. Solving for X. Okay, so pick a question on number 4, right? It's the absolute value of X equals to 3. And the other one is absolute value, basic 5 is less than 5, less than 3. And this other one is greater than 3. Okay, now, with that said and done, we know that all of these are if statements. All of these, if you talk about meaning, they're all if statement. They're all if statements. Okay, so this one is if statement, and that one is if statement, and that one is if statement. So knowing this sentence structure help us to get started to think about it. So if that is true, and we also understand yesterday from what we covered yesterday, okay, is that we see this as a function. The function takes the input, right? The function takes the input, and this is the function. It produces the output, right? They all produce the same process we can reflect on, right? The same process we can reflect on is that in this case, we know the output is exactly 3. And in this case, we know the output is going to be less than 3, right? So this is exactly 3. And this is the case that the output is less than 3. And in this case, the output is larger than 3. Okay? Does everybody follow me? So this is to understanding the context. This is to understanding the context. So knowing the function, we can graph it, right? So all of these three questions, 1, 2, 3, all three questions, they are about identifying the input such that the output is exactly 3, or the output is less than 3, or the output is larger than 3. Got it? So now, yesterday we also talked about the visual perspective. The visual perspective. Okay, so what is the visual perspective or the function perspective, right? We know that once you have a rule, you have a graph, right? Once we have a rule, we have a graph. And with this rule, which this is a function, this is the rule of the function, right? Let me make it just a little bit smaller, okay? Maybe even smaller. Okay. So now when equals to 3, when we want the output to be equals to 3, it looks like 3 it seemed to be a critical number, right? The 3 is a number that we're gonna, so graphically, they're all about finding input, right? To satisfy different conditions. Okay. So I'm gonna put just some broken lines here, right? Just broken lines here. For equals to 3, what does that mean? We are going to identify the input. We're going to identify the input. Okay, we know that negative 3 and positive 3 are on the end, right? So we know the solution is going to be positive 3 or negative 3, right? Yesterday we covered this material. So the solution to the first one will be exactly negative 3 or exactly positive 3. On the other one is less than 3. So for less than 3, where do we find the solution? The solutions are between negative 3 and positive 3. For larger than 3, the solutions are going to be what? Are going to be outside 3 and negative 3. Do you guys see that? You guys see that? So that's what we did yesterday. So now I'm going to give you these 3 graphs so you can see the difference. Okay? So are you guys taking notes? I want you guys to kind of understand these. And I'm going to plot the points for you guys to see it. Okay? So negative 3, 0. So these are the red dots. Right? 3, 0. So that will be the solution, right? That's the solution for, if I'm inserting the row, I will show you how to solve this, how to show work to your professors, right, at the end. But first, understand the meaning, right? So this will be the solution if we want the output to be exactly 3. So this point and that point, so these 2 points, negative 3, positive 3, these are the inputs. So what are the outputs? Right? So the actual point of solution, we know the input. We're looking for input. We identify the input is negative 3 and positive 3. So on the graph, it's really that when input is negative 3, the output is 3, because the absolute value of negative 3 is positive 3. And this other one is when input is 3, the output is 3 as well. But one is horizontal, right? We have 2 horizontal solutions, positive 3 or negative 3. Okay, and they will cause to have the same outputs. Okay, so what we are looking for is the inputs. So we found the two inputs. One is -3, that's +3. But in the context of function, that's what it is. Does everybody follow me? Or did I make it too complicated?
Do you think you can explain the answer a little bit more or a little bit further? So
Answer.
so it would be so for this one, it's either 3 or -3 or within inside of it, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I see.
So how to show your work? With this much understanding, how do you show your work? Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah.
To show your work, just 2 lines. That's it. That's how much you need to show your work. But to really understand it and beneficial for you, for your future studies, is to understand all of these. Or, you know, some of you might be taught without the function introduced, without from the function perspective. Okay, so there's another perspective. I'm going to talk about the other perspective after I'm showing you the 2 other pictures. Okay, so I'm going to complete these topics. Okay, I'm going to complete these topics. So hold on. So for this part, right? So from the function perspective, which I cover first, the reason I want to show you this perspective, because I want you to see that all the situations you're dealing with, they're all similar. They're all similar, can be seen from functions perspective. All right. So for this one, I'm going to show you the solution. 3, 0, 3 to 3, 0. And then the 2 dots become circle. And the next one becomes a circle. That becomes a circle. Hold on, let me see if that will make it. No. Okay, so I just want to show you a proper picture. So that's a circle. That should be a line, sorry. And we need another circle. -3, 0, that's another circle. Okay, so for less than 3, it's in between. It's in between. Do you guys see that? Okay, so hold on, the color. Let me make sure the color is correct. Make it red. Okay, so for less than 3, where we found the solutions are between -3 to +3. And I know you guys, some of you guys learned from the other perspective. I will be addressing that other perspective just in a second, okay? And the next one, okay, what I'm going to show you here is like this. It's on the outside. Okay. The scale changed for me. Okay, never mind. I'm gonna just make this way. Okay, -5 to -5 to +5. Okay, so that will be comparable. So you can see from the functions perspective, right? If we look at from the input-output perspective, the input, first we need to understand all 3 questions we're looking for input, right? All 3 questions we're looking for input. Now, okay, now we have the perspective, excuse me. So the 3, right? 3 is the horizontal line. The 3 is a horizontal line. If we want the output to be exactly 3, the solution would be -3 or +3. If we want the output to be less than 3, the solution would be between -3 to +3. If we want the output to be larger than 3, then the output will be either less than -3 or greater than +3. And of course, all of these are in our thoughts and understanding, right? You can picture this. You must be able to picture this. And next is how much work do you show? How do you show these work, right? So for the first piece, the work you need to show is really just this much. X equals to +3 or -3. That's how you read it, +3 or -3. For this one, to solve that inequality, is that it's from -3 less than X less than +3. The last one, if you're solving the inequality of the absolute value of X is greater than 3, then the solution would just be either X is less than -3 or X is larger than 3. Is that clear, everybody? So if you just talk about, oh, how do I show my work so I get all the points? It's just these 2 lines for each particular question, right? If you ask to solve equal, less, greater. That's it. In fact, all the absolute value inequality questions can be categorized into these 3 categories. So now let's look at the other perspective. The other perspective you might have learned this from is this. Okay, I'm going to insert the row. 2 rows. What you might have learned this before is this way. Okay, I believe that's very common. That's very common. Okay, the way you have learned them before is this, right? There's no such a thing. Wait. Removing. Okay, hold on. I'm going to be removing the curves. Okay, removing the line. Removing that. So what you have learned before might be just something like this. Am I right? Hold on, I'm going to change the scale. Okay. -5, +5. Some of you might have learned this without the y-axis. You just positive from the definition of absolute values perspective, you just do it one dimension. I believe a lot of you learned that way. Is that right? Yes? Well, if you remember? No? Okay. And the other situation, because this is when I saw your work. When I saw your work, I mean, not your work. I haven't seen your work. I see the work from some student I've taught before, and that's what they have learned. Okay, so it's this way. It's a one-dimensional concept. It's a one-dimensional concept, which is totally fine. But I want you guys to see from all these different perspectives. Do you understand what I mean? from all these different perspectives to deepen the understanding of this function. Because in calculus, you will need to know all these different perspectives. You need to know all these perspectives. Okay, so that last one, the last one, I'm going to remove that. Okay. Okay, so look at this, look at these, right? The one in the middle. Right here. So some of you might have learned it that this way. Is that right? But all of these are different perspectives. I hope I didn't confuse you more. But have you seen more from the perspective of function? Do you guys follow me? In terms of showing work, this is really how much you need to show. This is really how much you need to show. You don't need to show any graph. You don't need to do all the other things, but you need to understand those situations. You need to understand the situation. Why? Because you need that to apply to other situations. Got it? And that part is called analytical geometry, which is, you will need from time to time. Any questions? No comments. No comments. Are you guys there?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, do you understand what I'm talking about? Farouz, are you there?
Yes, Professor.
Did I make it too complicated?
No, no.
I'm trying to catch the different perspective. And most of the students probably learn it this way, learn it just from the number line, right?
Yes, and you mentioned in the beginning, we are looking for inputs.
Right, we're looking for input. So,
and those are the inputs.
That's right. Okay, but what input satisfy, right? So I bring these three kinds of questions together because they are just a different aspect about this function, different aspect of function, equal, less, and greater. And if you see from this perspective, you will find that all the questions you see about equations, they are in the same, they can all be seen in the same light. They can all be seen in the same light. So you can see on basic 4, basic 5, basic 6, basic 4, 5, 6, right? With this understanding, this basic types and basic understanding, right? I wish to give you guys 10 minutes. Okay, I wish to give you guys 10 minutes. You guys pick 2 questions from basic 4, basic 5, and basic 6. You pick 2 questions from each section. Okay, pick the ones that looks hard to you, and we're gonna solve those, and you're gonna work on it. And I'm going to have the breakout rooms available for you if you want to work with Farouz or you want to stay with me. Okay. If you stay with me, I would just have you guys work, and then we're gonna take the questions and answer questions. So here, this is how to show. This is how much work you need to show. Okay, this is how much work you need to show. Okay. So are you guys ready? You pick questions. Okay, so let me specify that. Pick 2 questions from basic 1. I'm sorry, basic 4, 5, 6, respectively, and work on them. Bring your questions to us. Is that clear, everybody? So you choose questions arbitrarily. Okay, you choose question arbitrarily. 10 minutes. 10 minutes. You guys know what to do? I'm going to set up the breakout rooms. Self-identifying. Okay, so open all the rooms. You can choose more than 2 if you want. Okay. And I'm gonna just grab something to drink. And Farouz is here, right? And
I'm here, yes.
nobody has gone to the breakout room yet. So maybe you just stay here, Farouz.
Okay,
I'll wait until I come back. Okay.
all right.
I'll just grab something to drink.
So class, any question, let me know. I'm here.
We can, I suggest that I'm going to collect how many questions? I'm going to collect 6 answers. Okay, I'm going to collect 6 work from, hopefully from 6 of you. Okay, I don't want you, I hope everybody have the opportunity to turn in their work. We have 16 people, 15, but may not all of you turn in, just this time 6. Okay, 6 different people voluntarily to turn in your work by submission to Pronto. Okay, I want to take a look at your work. Okay, so when you're ready, but first round we only collect 6 people. Okay, 6 different people. Can we try to do that? If we cannot get 6 different people, right? And then we can have some people turn in twice. So let's first try get 6 different people turn in the work. Let's see, do we start having people turning in? Pronto, or you can submit on the chat. Okay, if you upload file. We can also do share screen. Do you guys want to do share screen? It's just that if you do it on paper, you can take a picture and upload it to your screen and share screen. So if any one of you want to share screen to show the work, because I'm looking for, I want to see how you guys would do handling these situations. Okay, handling these situations. If everybody done perfectly, if all 6 work are done perfectly, then we just move on. Okay, if there's any issues, I will be addressing those issues. Okay, so we can start collecting work. Okay, when you're ready. Since nobody went to the room, so I'm just going to close the room. Right? So how's it going? Anybody has turned in any work? Don't be shy. Hello? Are you busy at work? Nobody turned in any work yet. I just wonder if I have done enough examples for you. If you need more examples, I'll be happy to supply. Just let me know. I'm ready to receive your work. I'm ready.
Does it matter for which one we turn it in? Does it, or you only need 2 questions for the basic 4, 5, and 6?
I'm sorry?
Can I just pick any 2 questions? And
That's
send
what I
it to-
meant. You pick any 2 questions of your choice. You just make sure you pick up 2 questions that you think might be hard for you and try them. You pick the questions.
Can I say it? Because my handwriting isn't really that good for pictures.
I'm sorry?
Can I say mine? My handwriting isn't really good for pictures. That's why.
It doesn't matter whatever you can come, you do the best you can. All right, we see one submission. Thank you for the submission. Oh, wait. Sorry, I was a little slow on downloading. Okay, so this is the submitted work. Absolute value less than 3/4 and x is between -3/4 to +3/4. That's good. And the next one. Good. Both are correct. Both are correct. That's how you show your work. Okay. Do we have another submission? I see a submission on chat. Okay. I see a submission on chat. Is that the same? These are the same, it's the same person? The work I saw on chat. The work I saw on chat seemed to be the same. Am I right? That's the same thing. Jacob, did you submit twice?
No, I only submitted once on Pronto.
But when I open the chat, the submission on chat, there's a submission on chat. Oh, is that me? Me to everyone? That's strange. Never mind. I don't know. I don't know how I did it. Okay, so do we have another submission? I'm looking for submission on basic 6. We got basic 5. How about basic 6? There are lots of questions on basic 5. I wonder, where's everybody? Are you guys there? You guys there?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're there, Jacob. I will just wonder everybody else.
I'm here.
I know. Thank you. That's great. Xavier, Sarah, Pedro, Orlando, Mark, Maritza, Maya, Javog, Sean, Chase. I wish to hear from you guys. We don't get more submissions, do we? So you guys okay with the rest of the questions? Is that right?
I have 2 more. Do you mind if I just turn them estimate them? Because I want to see if I got them correct.
Okay. It's a little bit too good to be true for me. If there's no more responses, I just move on, okay? My pronto got stuck. Doesn't close or open. I don't know what's wrong. It doesn't move. So I can't see your work. You can see, I see this submission here. Right, I see this and I can't close it. I cannot check other stuff. For some reason, the window is frozen. Let's see, there's some, I'm also there. Okay, guys. Thank you for your message. I'm glad to know you're there.
Have you tried pushing the little reset circle on the right-hand corner?
What?
Have you tried pushing the little redo circle on the left hand?
Which circle?
If you go on to, if you scroll up a little bit up, you see like an arrow, 2 arrows, a home menu, and a little redo button. Have you tried pushing that?
Is that what you meant?
No, if you like scroll up a little bit right here, oh, you can't really see. You know where it's, you know where you see your tab, right?
Yeah.
And you see like 2 arrow keys, a little like circle that's going around. Click the little circle that's going around to like reset the page.
Reset the page, reload. Okay, let me try again. Okay, it's reconnecting. All right. Okay, thank you. See the submission. Very good, very good. But they're all wrong. Incomplete. All right. This is what I'm waiting for. Okay, whoever submitted, thank you for submission. Is everybody with me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's look at basic 6. The absolute value of x is greater than or equal to 0. What are the input? And the answer, the input is going to be greater than equal to 0. The second question, the absolute value of x is greater than equals to half, and the input is going to be greater than equals to half. Both are wrong. What's wrong? The first one is telling the reader, okay, if the absolute value of an unknown number is greater than or equals to 3, then that input must be at least 0. That's what the reader has heard, has learned. And then the reader who saw this, and the viewer saw this, they will ask you, well, do you mean the negative number cannot be the solution to the first one? You guys see the flaw?
So what I need to add x is greater than plus or 0 minus. Would that be the correct form to write, or is that still wrong?
Add what?
Will I be adding plus or minus after the? It would be. Okay, let me see if I can write it down. Let me see if I can write it down here.
No, your answer should be. The answer should be the solution is all real numbers. All real numbers. Remember what the first thing we reviewed about absolute value function. The absolute value of any real number is greater than equals to 0. So the solution is all real numbers. So this answer is incomplete. Okay, so let's go back to, here. Okay, we're looking for in this situation, right? In this situation here. What we are dealing with when the question is the absolute value of x is greater than equals to 0. And we're asking for solution. We're asking for solution. If this is the question, what does it mean? It's that if, right? The absolute value of some unknown number is at least 0, find all possible solutions or possible values or inputs to make it true. So your question, you need to think about that if x is the input, the function is absolute value. The output produced, of course, is absolute value of x. We want this to be greater than equal to 0. then your question would be, what are the numbers that will make this true? You guys follow me?
Mhm.
All real numbers make it true. Every real number make it true. So your answer of x greater than equal to 0 is partial, is incomplete, because all the negative number will make it true as well. So the solution is what? This shows not enough understanding of absolute value. Okay, so solution is all real numbers. All right? Do you guys see that?
Mhm.
All right. Now the next question, why it was not right? Right? Did you guys saw that? Do I need to show you that screen again? This answer has only given part of the solution, not all the solution. So you're not going to get all the credit. Depends on who's grading it. Okay. For this piece, you probably get 0. Okay. So let me first talk about the answers and how the possible ways your professor might be grading it, right? So in this case, you might be just getting 0 because this shows little understanding of absolute value concept. Okay, I'm sorry, this is sounds a little harsh, but that's a reality. Okay, the next one, you only show part of the solution. Okay, so you may get half point, you may get half of the point designated for the question, or you may not, you may get less than half a point. So it depends. Okay. Now, why this is not, so what is missing? What is missing? What is missing is that the other parts, x less than or equals to -1/2. Okay, that part is missing. So you're missing, according to my grading policy, this is 1 point for or 1 point for the other part. You're gonna get 1/3 of the point. Okay, you're gonna get 1/3 of the points. However many points is designated for this question. Is that clear, everybody? But this is a very typical work of a lot of the students I used to see. Do you follow me? Including students I saw in calculus classes. You guys follow me? Okay. Does everybody follow me?
Yes.
Okay. So why? So next, I'm going to explain to you why. Absolute value. If the question given to you is absolute value of x is greater than or equals to half, okay? This question, if you look at the model, if you look at these two models, right? It's really the first one. Hold on. Wait, let me do this. Okay. Just, it's really the first one. And the third case. This question is a combination of the first and third case. Let me get this done. So to show you my intention, okay? Wait, this is awkward. Let me just do this again. Okay, remove that. There. All right, so the question we have here is larger than or equals to half. So it's equals to half or larger than half, right? Equals to half or larger than half. Do you guys see, do you see that? Do you see that changes I made? Did you guys see that changes I made? Larger than or equals to half, meaning this symbol, okay, this symbol means what? Greater than or equal. Okay, so this is a greater and this is equal. Do you guys follow me?
Yes.
This is a greater than, this is equal to. So greater than or equal to, there's both if statement, the same setting. What has changed? 3 is changed to half. That's all. Okay, so if I am to adjust the picture, which I will do, I want you guys to adjust the picture along with me so you understand what I'm talking about. You said a mistake I saw. Thank you for your contribution. That's what I'm looking for. Okay, I'm looking for those places I can help you. Very, very common mistake. It shows the understanding, shows the lack of understanding of absolute value concept. Okay, it's a tough concept to understand. I agree. Okay, that's why I talk about the way I do. Hopefully they'll give you some ideas, right? Equals to half. So this time, if I adjust the picture, if I do adjust the picture, which I will, this is going to be to half, right? And what else will be half? Negative half, positive half. Everything stay the same except it's just a different point. Do you guys see that? That's equals to half. Larger than half. Okay, I'm showing these changes right in front of you because I want to show that similarity. I want to show you that similarity. Do you guys see that similarity? Yes?
Yes.
Oh, this one needs to be changed. Okay, the only difference is that before it was 3, now it's larger than or equal to 3. Instead of 3 is now half. So larger than half or equal to half, these are the two cases. So what are the solutions you're going to have? The solutions you're going to have is going to be equals to half. For equals to half, you're going to get a plus minus half. Larger than half, you're going to get less than half or greater than less than negative half or greater than half. You combine these two. So what will be the solution finally? Okay, so I'm not going to spend time to adjusting these two pictures, but later, okay? So what will be the answer? The answer should be x less than or equals to negative half. Or x is greater than equals to half. That's why we say if you give only this part of the solution is incomplete, you get at most 1/3 of the point. Do you follow me? So this would be half half. Do you see that changes? This changes I make here is intentional. To show you what? To show you what? To show you the nature of the question. You follow me?
Yes.
So now you know why and how it was wrong, right? Do we have another submission? We have 2 minutes left. Okay. And this one. So I will give you a better picture about this. Okay, just 1 second. So first you see the nature of that. Okay, so really for this particular question, right? If you just, you can combine these two, you can combine these two cases into one. Okay, how do I combine these two cases in one? It's going to be the circle becomes dots. Wait. Dots. Dot. Do you follow me? So if you combine these cases for basic 4 and basic 6, it's just this case. If you see it from one-dimensional, if you see it from one-dimensional perspective, and you know this is the 2-dimensional perspective, and the other perspective I can give you is the one-dimensional perspective, which some of you might be used to, but it doesn't change the nature of the question. It doesn't change the answer. How much work you need to show, this is how much work you need to show. You guys follow me? You don't need to show the note part. You guys follow me? Your teacher doesn't need to see that. You need to know that. This is how much work you need to show. Does everybody follow me? So if you see the one-dimensional, that's what it is. If this is what you have learned before, and this is the connection, and this is a function perspective, that's the number line perspective, and this is the algebraic expression. So far, so good? Could I see another submission? Maybe I can critique what time is up, but I can go a little more time. Well, today we didn't do as much as we wished for, but I'm glad that thank you for whoever contributed. I know who you are, but I don't want to embarrass you. Don't feel embarrassed. This is helping everybody. These are very, very common mistakes. Okay, could I take a couple more minutes of your time?
Yes.
No one asked about these questions. Okay, no one asked about these questions. 11, 12, 13, 14 on basic 5. 11, 12, 13, 14. No one asked those questions. No one asked these questions. Basic 6. (11, 12, 13, 14). And no one asked basics 4, number 4, 5, 6, and number 5 and 6. How come? You guys have no questions about these problems? Okay, now think about it. Okay, I want you guys to think about it. So tomorrow we're going to be talking about these questions and what are solutions. Okay, our point, you need to understand the concept I give you guys, right? The concept I'll give you guys right here. Okay, at the beginning, the implication, the graph, and these three elements. Okay, you need to think about that as how they apply to these 10 questions I'm asking you in your homework. In your homework, okay, you have these for your homework. Okay, we're going to talk about them tomorrow. We're going to talk about them tomorrow, but now you need to think about it. Okay, that's all for today. I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Thank you, Professor.
Thank you. I'll
So
see you.
long.
Thank you. I'll see you tomorrow.
I'll see you tomorrow.